back to the Taekwondo Factory, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and if you turn on notifications then you're guaranteed not to miss one of the videos that we're uploading. So today's discussion is about 3 common faults with ITF Taekwondo patterns that I see lots of people making quite often. So if you could check yourself, see if you're making any of these mistakes, and then you can correct them and hopefully become better at performing your Taekwondo patterns. So the first common fault that we see is the merging of techniques together. What I mean by that is that instead of performing each separate technique as you should do in the pattern, that you're actually blurring the techniques together. So rather than finishing, if you were doing Taekwon-Do, and some people tend to flow from one move to the next and never have that pause in between movements to show the correct stance and technique. So make sure you pause between each movement, even if your pattern has a continuous motion movement in it. Going back to Dangan again, like a low block and a rising block, you must make sure you finish this technique completely. Even though it flows on, don't not put this hand back on the hip because you know it's got to come back off. Don't get into sloppy habits like that, and try and make sure you finish all your techniques. Okay? Common fault number 2 is to anticipate the next movement and position your body accordingly. So I'm going to use pattern Oyam as the example for this one. So when you've performed your X stance back fist strike, and you know that the next technique is to turn in the opposite direction to perform your side punch. Some people tend to land with their body side facing because they're already anticipating the next move, and they want to make it easier for themselves on the turn. So make sure you finish each technique body facing the correct way, everything landed correctly, then turn and perform the next movement. Sometimes this can be found lower down in the cunabout patterns as well. An example might be Dosan, where we've done the fingertip thrust and we're going to rotate to do our turn. Sometimes when people perform the fingertip thrust, they've gone into more like a sitting stance because they're trying to make it easier for themselves on the turn. So make sure you're not anticipating the next movement. And the third and final common mistake, this one is seen on quite a lot of patterns, so you can double check yourself on this one for sure. When you get to the top end of your pattern, I'm going to use Dangan again, and you're here and you're going to turn at the end into here, or halfway through into here, is to people reposition this front foot. So I'm going to do it this way. What I mean is that they move their front foot to make the turn easier for themselves, okay? You can't make extra foot movements in your patterns or they're incorrect. So keep that front foot still and move the body weight up towards it. Do not pull the foot back and then try and do the turn. So 3 common faults to check yourself for on your patterns, okay? The merging of techniques, the positioning of your body too soon, and the movement of feet when they shouldn't be moving. Okay, thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time on the Taekwondo Factory.